Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So remember when I said that tier lists were going to be my new thing on this channel and I was always going to make videos around them? And then I didn't upload another tier list video for a whole month. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but today we're here to get back on track. I think at least for the next few videos, I'm going to keep using ideas that you guys gave me in that community tab that I made, which means that today we're going to be tier ranking K-pop group names. But I'm going to make it a little bit more fun and specifically focus on 4th gen group names because I think we can all agree that as time has gone by, these group names have just gotten worse and worse. And it kind of feels like that for every one good group name that we get like 20 really bad ones. So why not talk about it and give a little, bad credit where bad credit's due. And let's start by talking about the names that I put for each tier and explaining why I put them. Starting at the top, we have iKON status, which is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, these group names are so good, and I have absolutely no complaints for whoever made them. Then we have the cute tier, which is for group names that I think are pretty good. I generally have positive thoughts about them, but there might be 1 or 2 things that I would change. But overall, they're still cute. In the middle, we have the acceptable tier, which is for group names that I think I would probably hate if there weren't so many more that were worse than them. They're by no means my favorite, but I kind of have to give them props because in comparison to some of the others, they're definitely not as bad, but they're still not great. Right below that, we have the ... tier, and all of the group names in this tier make me scratch my head a little bit. I don't explicitly hate them, but they just don't really make sense, and they're just a little bit too out there for me to really enjoy. And finally, we have the somebody's getting fired tier, which is for group names where if I was the CEO of a company and somebody suggested this group name to me, I would probably let them go immediately. These group names, I quite literally have no idea what anybody was thinking when they made them, and I think 99% of the population would be able to come up with something better. And that just about wraps up the tier explanations, so without further ado, let's talk about the first group. So the first group that we're going to be talking about is Ateez, and Ateez are going in the ... tier. So if you're super familiar with my channel, you'll remember a video I made way back in the day where I talked about Ateez, MCND, StayC Kids, and the boys, and ranked them in different categories. And initially, when I ranked them based on their group names, I actually put Ateez first. And then I found out what Ateez actually means. I thought Ateez was a good group name just because it sounds cool, but when I found out that it actually means, get this, A, Teenager, Z, I cannot justify putting them any higher than the tier. A, Teenager, Z means nothing. That's not a real combination of words that works. And it's a little bit more than questionable. I love Ateez, but if somebody ever asks me what Ateez actually means, you know damn well I'm not going to tell them the real answer, because I think we should all just pretend that Ateez doesn't have a second meaning. I hate that I even had to remember this in order to make this video. So let's just move on to the next group. Second for this video, we have Billlie, and I'm putting Billlie in the acceptable tier. I don't really hate Billlie as a group name. I think their whole slogan with the "Do you know about Billlie" thing is super cute. I just don't really understand why they chose to have a regular name that literally any average Joe anywhere could have, and we're like, yeah, that's what we want our group to be known as. Second of all, why are there 3 L's in their name, and why are they surrounded by 2 I's? Because now at the middle of their name literally looks like a barcode. And furthermore, literally half the people that I know who know of Billlie don't know that they have 3 L's in their name. They think there are 2. But can you blame them? Who spells Billlie with 3 L's? It's not in a lower tier because the name Billlie does kind of make them stand out, but when their name first got announced, they were actually getting a lot of attention for it, but none of it was positive. Once again, I love Billlie. They might be my favorite girl group right now, but man, I am not the biggest fan of their name, and I don't think many other people are either. After them, we have I.V, and I'm also going to be putting I.V in the ... tier. Because who makes a K-pop group name a contraction? Like, maybe there's a deeper meaning there, but 99% of the people who know about I.V are going to view their name as I have. And just like, imagine if they had to, or no, better yet, imagine if you had to go around and introduce yourself to people as, hello, we are I have. Or you were talking about them and you had to be like, do you like 11 or Love Dive by I Have More? Like, I.V sounds nice as a group name, but I overall just think it's kind of stupid. Most group names, if they're gonna be real words, are gonna be nouns. And if they're not, they're gonna be something really catchy like twice. But I.V just doesn't have any sort of ring or rhyme or reason to it. And it's so unfortunate that a group that I like so much has such a kind of mediocre name. It's not the worst of the worst. Luckily, there's still many other group names that I.V is way better than, but that doesn't make I.V a good group name, and that's why they're pretty low on this tier list. Up next we have Itzy, and I don't know if this is going to be a surprise to many, but Itzy are actually going in the iKON status tier. I love Itzy as a group name. I think it's so catchy, and I especially love how they incorporate it into so many of their songs. The ones that come to mind are when they use their name as lyrics in 24 Hours and Not Shy, and I just think it sounds so fun. Luckily, Itzy is not an acronym, so it doesn't really mean anything. So if I ever happen to be singing along to Not Shy, I don't have to like cringe in the back of my mind because I have to remember their true meaning of their name. I also love how earlier in their career they kind of use their name in every aspect of their marketing. Their first 3 album names were It's Different, It's Icy, and It's Me, all of which used ITZ as the spelling instead of ITS, which I thought was super fun. I like Itzy as a group name because it doesn't try too hard to be something that it's not. There's no stupid long acronym attached to the name that means something that makes absolutely no sense. It's just something that sounds fun and something that people will remember after hearing it only one time. And that's what, in my opinion, makes a good K-pop group name.
Nani? Hey, tell me what? Nani?
After Itzy, we have P1 Harmony, and P1 Harmony are unfortunately going in the somebody's getting fired tier. P1 Harmony has to be one of my all-time least favorite K-pop group names because it feels so overwhelmingly try-hard. Apparently it means +1 harmony, and I don't think it takes a genius to know that that makes absolutely no sense. And I feel like P1 Harmony is something that you would get if you asked a 5-year-old to come up with the coolest made-up word that they could think of. When I see P1 Harmony, I can't help but imagine like a group of elementary schoolers coming up with their own superhero team name, and considering how serious they want people to take them with their music videos and concepts, I think their name kind of sabotages them because it just makes them look silly. I understand what they were trying to do with this group name, but I just think they're doing way too much, and that's why it's in the bottom tier. After P1 Harmony, we have Loona, and Loona is going in the iKON status tier immediately. I love how Loona is their English name, but they also have a Korean name which means Girl of the Month, and somehow both of these names are not cringy at all and both tie into their lore. They had that whole Girl of the Month pre-debut project where each of the members got their own solo, each in a different month, and they're also a group that's very tied to space and especially the moon, so that's how Loona fits in there too. But even then, if you don't know any of their lore, just the name Loona sounds cool by itself. And I love how the name is able to appeal both to the core fandom and to the general public at the same time. And I think if I had to choose right now what my favorite group name of all time is, it would probably be Loona because it's just that good. Gotta give credit where credit is due. Up next we have MCND, and I'm gonna put MCND in the acceptable tier. Now realistically, I can't put MCND much higher than this because their name's resemblance to McDonald's is a little bit uncanny, but I still do think that MCND has a decent ring to it, and the meaning of music creates a new dream is pretty cute too. I think it definitely could be better and definitely could have a little bit less resemblance to McDonald's, but it's still nice, kind of memorable, and a little catchy, so I'll put it in the acceptable tier. After MCND, we have TXT, and I'm going to be putting TXT in the cute tier. Now, if this tier list was based on acronyms alone and we didn't have to consider the true meaning behind the names, then TXT would be in the top tier. But the full name, Tomorrow by Together, you know, it might be connected to their lore, but I don't really care about that because at the end of the day, Tomorrow by Together still sounds very awkward. TXT is such a cute acronym, I'll give them that. It might honestly be my favorite acronym name in all of K-pop, but the full name Tomorrow by Together is such a mouthful and it's just not that appealing. So TXT is really close to being top tier, but Tomorrow by Together brings them down a peg. After TXT, we have StayC, and StayC is going in the iKON status tier. Now, you might be wondering why StayC is in the iKON status tier. And that group is going to be Kep1er, who are going straight into the someone's getting fired tier. And Kep1er is a perfect example of how to do a space-themed group wrong. You know, you can have a cosmic group name without naming yourselves after scientists from the 17th century. You can have a group name without randomly replacing one of the letters with a number just because you can. And the name Kep1er just feels so unserious to me. Like, it doesn't sound cool, it doesn't roll off the tongue, it doesn't look cool, why is there a random 1 shoved in the middle of there? And it doesn't make me interested in the group. It's just kind of lame, and I don't understand why they decided to set up the girls as hard as they did with this one. And that concludes this video. I should remind you all that I have no malicious intent with this video, I just wanted to give some commentary on what I thought about some 4th gen group names, and I hope that you all enjoyed what I had to say. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, consider subscribing. Oh, and if you haven't yet, go go to the comment section and look at the pinned comment and vote for MCND and Road to Max. If enough people vote for them, they're going to be able to come to KCON and I will be able to see them because their American tour got postponed and I am so upset about it. And if they get enough votes to where they win the whole thing, they'll even be able to perform at Mama, which I could not be more excited at the thought of. Thank you all again so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the video, and without further ado, I'll see you all next time, so peace out.